Now rocking with the best.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Bhangra podcast. Today, Sid will be interviewing Isha and Nandini, the co-directors of Bhangra and the Burgh. Today's featured mix is the official Bhangra and the Burgh mixtape by Drsrimix, Baned, and featuring first-class beats.
All right, welcome everybody to another episode of the Bhangra podcast. I'm here with two of the directors of Bhangra and the Burgh 11. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Nandini. I am one of the co-directors of Bhangra and the Burgh this year. I'm a junior business stats major, and it's my third year working with the board.
Yeah. What was your position last year?
Oh, I was an operations and logistics chair last year.
And my name is Isha. I'm also a co-director. I'm a junior information systems major at Carnegie Mellon, and I was a liaison chair last year and a liaison freshman year.
Yeah. So, Bhangra and the Burgh has a special place in my own heart because I'm from Pittsburgh. I've been going to the competitions since I've been to every single one, and it's been great. Having Bhangra in Pittsburgh, because as a Bhangra dancer, being able to have a competition in your hometown, like I've talked to folks around the circuit that have said, I wish that there was a competition in my own city, or I wish I could dance like in front of my own friends and family, and it's always been an honor to do that. So I appreciate the effort that you guys have always put in. So if you guys want to talk about the charity that you guys are with, or I don't even know I don't know what the right word is, but supporting, and you guys are donating to. If you guys want to talk about, I know you guys went to the hospital and you got the experience, and so if you guys want to, go ahead and talk about it.
Sure. So our charity this year is the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh Foundation, and we are our proceeds are going to go to developing their creative and expressive arts therapy program. So basically what that is that they use arts therapy or music therapy to help patients cope with trauma, especially children. And they have over 300 inpatients and only 4 people currently helping run the program. And the work that they do is incredibly amazing, but they really need to expand. They need more room to help their patients out. And we hope to donate as much as we can this year to them. So we want to make sure our show is extremely successful so that we can make that difference. And about 2 weeks ago, we went on a hospital tour, and it was incredibly amazing to see the work that they do. And it made it even more of a tangible goal for us to meet, because we want to see that program grow and make even more differences in children's lives who are already going through things that they can't control. So even to make a small little difference to improve their lives, even a little bit, is just amazing.
Yeah, and even seeing the impact it made on board, they could really relate to the kids and see what they're going through and the people that are helping them. It made us feel like we're part of this project with them, and we hope to relay that to the audience, even just in a small way.
Can you guys talk about what you saw? Kind of explain the process, because your art, helping inpatients through arts and music. Can you that sounds like a lot.
Sure.
But it sounds really cool. So can you paint a picture of how they go about it?
Definitely. So when we went there, we actually talked to one of the music therapists and one of the art therapists. And they showed us videos and pictures of them working with, each a respective kid. So for example, one of them, so there was a girl who is being fed through the tube, and then finally after all of that, she needs to eat with her mouth, but she just wasn't doing it. And that's the last step she needs to get released. So this girl, the music therapist had already built a really good relationship with this girl by using music, just making up songs, just making this girl smile. And at the end of the day, the only thing that worked to get her to start eating was just music, singing random songs that would help her just loosen up and distract her mind from focusing on just what's going on around her and just focusing on eating and finally making sure that she's better. And then arts therapy, there was a boy who had a specific syndrome that just he was just in consistent pain, and he was pressing that, the pain button about 50 to 60 times in an hour. And this lady would go this is a middle school kid. So he was like macho, like didn't want to do all the little arts projects, but it's a distraction. And soon he got into it and he started making, things with this lady, and that came down to 2 to 3 times an hour pressing the pain medication button. That's an incredible difference that these people make. They spend over 10 hours a day in the hospital. We work 8 hours and we're exhausted, and they're spending 10 hours a day working with children, and not a single time do they complain. They smile so much when they talk about the work that they do. They have not a single complaint. They just want to make it better, and they are in small like closet sized space. They really could benefit from this expansion. And I still remember they had a work that the boy did, and he was just drawing, and for the first time he just wrote something with a crayon and it just said happy, and they asked him why, and he was like, I just, that's just what he was feeling at that moment, was just happy. And that's an incredible difference to make in somebody's life. And we didn't specifically interact with any children, but they were, doing their own thing. And to see them in that environment that they were placed into not by their own choice, and yet there were all these different activities that the hospital is doing and creating certain scenarios for them to even have a little bit of happiness, is amazing. And that's, at the end of the day, we want to help contribute to that happiness even a little bit.
That's dope. I told you guys this already. I have a handicapped brother, and I definitely see, he's severely handicapped. He can't do anything for himself. So I see what music, and I'll just he can't do anything artistically, obviously, but I see what music does to him. So I completely get it. And I can personally relate. So I think that is absolutely amazing. So pivoting off of that, want to talk to you guys about sustainability. Bhangra the Burgh has been in a competition for 11 years now, and that is amazing. We don't see a lot of competitions that come up, make it past 2-3 years sometimes. And so, what in your guys' eyes, you guys have taken the reins in. What from an external viewpoint would be, you guys just came into a well-oiled machine, right? And the past couple of years, it's already been running for a long time. So, what in your guys' eyes has made the competition so sustainable?
So to start off, one of the things that I think and obviously I think when we start off as a board, people are never perfect. I mean, we're still not perfect. We're learning from past year's mistakes or the past year's mistakes. And we make our own mistakes that we hope we can pass on to hopefully future Burghs. So one thing that they started, I would say that it was pretty consistent starting maybe 7 or 8, is we had a Google Drive. So when we obviously have a full board turnover that occurs, and when this happens, you need all the information from the past year to continue on to this year. And that goes with finances, that goes with knowing when to order what items, what PR items, when to order that, what are the deadlines that we should know, what can we make better, and what do we build on top of. And having this, setting up meetings in the beginning of the year, I think that's one of the major things that has kept it going. Having that communication lines between past year's board and this year's board is what really helps everybody on board feel confident, because they think, okay, we have someone to fall back on for advice, somebody who's already done this, who's been there, done that. And I think that's one thing that has kept it going.
Another thing that I think really helps Nandini and I as co-directors is we have a really good relationship with last year's co-directors. We go to them for advice, things that we didn't get to see behind the scenes that they experienced. And also specifics are good, last year's liaison chairs. We'll meet with this year's liaison chairs, but also we kind of do a synopsis of everything that was last year, what went well, what didn't go well, and how can we change it. And we try and adapt the things that went well and specifically target the things that didn't go well and make like active efforts to change that. Yeah.
And to add on, I think that not just previous year's boards, but to be honest, like knowing like Bhangra teams locally and like what advice they can provide us, because they've actually, you know, gone through the process of the competition, because we run the back end, but that doesn't mean we know what goes on in the front end. What, like being co-directors or being an operations chair or liaison chair last year doesn't mean that I know what's going on at another part of the competition. Like there's only so much that I can keep my eyes on. After a while, I don't know what's going on backstage, or I don't know what's going on in a dressing room. And I think it's important that we get teams' feedbacks, just so that that's something that we take into consideration when we look at it. Because at the end of the day, the point is we want to create as best of an environment as possible. Like that's what helps it continue. That's what helps people come back, is what their experience is like.
Yeah. And then I know we oftentimes like look back on like BIB 9 and 10 because we were here for that. But so like my sister was co-chair for BIB 6. And so I've been talking to her a little bit, being able to get her experiences, even just like little things. So I feel like it's also nice to get like the BIB like 5, 6, 7 experience also. So we can like reflect on that and see what went well.
Who was co-directors with her?
It was Sheetal, Sonam, and
I don't remember.
Gotham.
Oh man, because I communicated most with Sheetal.
Yeah.
So I remember her. So when I saw your name come up in your face, I was like, "Is that her little sister?"
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what?
she's coming to the show. I'm so excited.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been hearing about. I used to call it Bib to like make
Bib.
him mad in middle school. Yeah.
You know, we played a little prank on the group me last year, and I feel like we got in trouble for this.
Which group me?
In the captain's group me, we took a picture of one of our guys, and we took a picture of a baby with like a big bib on it,
yeah.
And then we put his face on the baby's face, so it's just him as a baby, but like
Whose face?
it was Thajas.
Oh, okay.
And we just put like the BIBX on the bib and just posted it in the group me, and just Piyush messaged me. I was just like, what is this? Why are you doing this?
Was the beard on the baby?
The beard was on the baby.
That seems like a lot.
Yeah. Because it was just like bib captain. So we're like bib. And so like Umar just like kind of went crazy and took that X, put it on the bib, put Thajas' face on the baby. It was good.
Yeah.
When it comes to sustaining the competition and being able to donate to the charities, one thing that you guys have done, very well in my eyes is being able to acquire sponsorships. As I told you guys before, I've seen you guys get Vitamin Water and Fuse, Quiznos and Chipotle at the same time would be providing lunch.
Yeah.
Like you guys have done an excellent job of going out and acquiring sponsorships. So like what about that process do you guys believe is like the key to doing that? Because competitions out there, I think a big reason that they don't make it past a couple of years is just financially they can't sustain it, right? And that has to do with raising money and getting sponsorships, right? And it is a two-way street. Like sponsors need to be able to see the ROI, right? So what do you guys do to bring in the sponsors and then deliver on the ROI?
I can go like broad and go specific. Okay. Yeah. So one of the things that she's like head of sponsorship, so like she knows like all the specifics. But so yeah, it's like one thing that we do that I feel like has worked consistently for us is we'll have like 2 sponsorship chairs, and for the most part they'll split like internal and external. So CMU supports us a lot. So it's like internal like departments within CMU. So like our business. So like not only does the like CMU as like the school give us money, but then we reach into departments and get money. And then external, like you can talk about also.
Right. So with sponsorship, I think the first thing is starting early, because companies they just don't always are there. They've got many other things to do than to find a little organization in some schools. That's just not where their mind is at. A huge aspect is the charity aspect. A lot of these companies really like the idea of being tax exempt, if I'm perfectly honest. One important thing is whatever your organization is, make sure you have all your ducks in order, because when they want a form or when they want the contract, be ready to go and show them initiative, because that's what they want. They want to work with people that they know is on top of providing them exactly what they want. But yeah, start early and create a sponsorship packet, have a plan, have different levels, because not everybody's going to want to donate at a certain level or whatever, and have things that actually make a difference. And I think what is really important beyond all this is to have a real conversation with people. You want to get them on the line. This is one of those things that's like either you get it or you miss it, but when you get it, you want to make that conversation count, because A, you touch up on the charity aspect, B, if you have a charity aspect, B, you touch up on what demographics can they reach out to. So when we reach out to a company, we think about, okay, like in what way does this company benefit from being PR'd at our competition, and what exactly do they get? So we have to really like think of the scenario. We're like, okay, like we've got a lot of Indian people coming, so they're going to want to really know about your company and your food, or we've got a lot of kids coming, so if you have a very techie startup website, like we want to cater to you because you're going to get these people knowing about your company. And obviously, like team shirts have all the sponsorship logos on the back, and that just, it kind of carries along, and you start seeing it. At the end of the day, it's a certain sense of recognition that you gain, which you really need to cater to it. So when we have these our sponsorship chairs, I think the biggest thing is just training them to really know about the organization and pitch it in a way that it's catered to whatever company or whatever even academic department that we're reaching out to. If you're reaching out to an arts department, there's a reason, because you want the whole arts thing to cross over. Or like the language department, it's because we're a cultural organization. So we're really trying to make sure that we pick out the aspects of our organization that would make a difference to these companies and departments.
For you guys, what methods in terms of selling tickets beyond the standard that we know about of promoting through social media, making the entire committee have a cover photo, and make the committee, every single person in the committee sell 10 tickets? Like, outside of these basic ideas, what kind of ideas could you share with other competitions of like how you guys go about going and getting more ticket sales?
Sure, yeah. So you talked about like board outreach. Tabling is a huge thing. So obviously we do like CMU tabling. We reach out to Pitt, do Pitt tabling. Some big things that we...
What exactly is tabling?
Okay, sure. So tabling is just basically you have a table in like a well-populated area and targeting students, playing like hype Bhangra music and getting them interested in the show, basically, and drawing them in and getting their friends and to like buy tickets. Another big thing just in terms of tabling is like doing group ordering tickets, so they can like get discounts, so they're more likely to buy it if it's like $1 or $2 cheaper. So yeah, obviously we hit like Pitt and CMU. Other things that we did last year, which we want to transfer to this year as well, is we went to the Gurudwara once or twice. And in general, like people are really, really supportive, and having physical tickets and actually just selling them tickets and t-shirts, like they were really, really willing. Like the kids love to like have the stickers and stuff. So PR there, and then also selling tickets there. And one thing that we did last year and we also did this year, there's something called like Pick 5K. It's like the Indian Pittsburgh community. They just have like a 5K. And so we went over there, we got to PR, we didn't get to sell tickets because it was like earlier on, but we got to talk to these families and they were all so excited. They marked it in their calendars and they're coming to the show. Like they're really excited, and we have their D-list, so like they'll be buying tickets. So reaching out to not just college students, because they'll come. It's reaching out to the like Pittsburgh community, and like there's other ways that we're always looking to improve there.
Right. Nothing really more to add on to that, but that sometimes it's the material that we bring out, like our merchandise that draw people in. Our shot glasses are quite a hit pretty much every time, but just something that draws them in to check it out. And Yeah, something that we've been trying to do, I think, over the last 2 years. Like last year's when we thought of this initiative is actually reaching out into the Indian community here. And it's always like a work in progress because we're trying to figure out different avenues to reach out. Like last year was the first year Pick 5K came about. Yeah, and then going to the temple and Gurudwara and obviously figuring out all these different associations because there's different groups and trying to reach out to them because at the end of the day I think Indian families love supporting things like this
and they love CMU.
They love CMU, yeah, and that they love to know that there's college students running this, and then of course there comes the slew of questions about education and college and whatnot. Will my kid get in? But that's a way you make the connection, and I think that's what helps grow our competition, and definitely something we're focusing on this year as PR.
Yeah.
So next we're going to talk about team hospitality and how Bhangra and the Burgh got in such an incredible lineup. But first, a quick message from one of our sponsors.
00 Threads is a leading provider of customized apparel. Having served over 100 dance competitions and teams since its inception, 00 Threads ensures an easy ordering process and seamless delivery of everything ranging from t-shirts to snapbacks. Mention the Bhangra podcast while ordering and 00 Threads will provide a discounted rate. Visit 00 Threads, that's the word double, the letter O, threads.com for more information. And now back to the Bhangra podcast.
So one thing that you guys do with hospitality is you guys put some effort into creating a nice team basket and go all out with the hotel rooms and stuff like that. So what kind of things have teams liked in the past that you guys could like pass on to other board members around the country and around the world that like teams really appreciate that, hey, like I really like that you put that in the team basket, or something extra that you guys did hospitality wise that
so last year so what we usually will put in is like an assortment of like food, stuff to like just get you through the day, like little stuff hopefully that like makes you think that we're thinking of you guys, like Bengay or like bobby pins. Those are like more basic. And then we'll put like shot glasses. I feel like you guys can all use that for the after party. And then obviously like the standard like t-shirt. Last year we did mason jars with the with the stickers. Yeah, that was really fun. Another thing about just like brainstorming is like a lot of the people on board, whether it's like Bhangra, Ross, or Fusion, have experience going to competitions. So being able to think about like what have we gotten, and like I'm sure like people would like that as well. Another thing I feel like that goes a long way is like personalized things. So things that are like specific to like the BIB logo and like the team's logo. And I feel like that like puts a little more effort. Just in that way, like we're thinking of you guys and we want your experience to be good.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, there's a competition called Bhangra Idols. They were around for a long time. They got personalized water bottles, like not like one of those over there. I'm talking like they got mass produced those just simple like Aquafina looking water bottles that you buy at Costco. They got a Bhangra Idols label with dancers' names on them. Yeah. I was like, dang, like that was nuts. Yeah, I don't know how they did it. I don't know how it's. But that would be like, it, at least, you know, for me as a viewer, I never went to the competition ever because it was in Vancouver and we never went. But just seeing the pictures of that was like, wow, like that's really cool. Like that they went out of the way to do that.
Yeah, something that like I feel like I aspire to, like so Ross, like All Stars is like the like collegiate like nationals for Ross competitions, and they always give us personalized stuff. Like 2 years ago, we got dandias with our names engraved in them.
That's really cool.
And like last year we got like picture frames with our specific like picture, and our like in the picture frame our name and our team and like the RAS like logo was engraved. It's like they have a mad amount of sponsor, and they'll have like a specific engraving, like they have a specific sponsor just to do the engravings for personalized things. So that's always like something that we aspire to. They'll like have like personalized blankets and stuff. But yeah, they do a really good job with sponsorship, so it's like something to aspire to.
So probably the juiciest part of the conversation that we're gonna get to.
Yeah, we're super excited. Doesn't come across.
So, you know, from my perspective, I've talked to a few people already. It's going to be insane. And you're looking at a lineup that within the past, I want to say 18 months, every single team on this lineup has brought home a first place trophy, which is also insane. I don't know if there's ever been a competition that has had that level. Like Elite Eight and World's Best have always boasted amazing lineups. Bruins have always boasted amazing lineups. But like we're talking like 8 teams deep. That's insane, right? Yeah. Like the max, I feel like the max I've ever seen is like 5 or 6. Yeah. That like Garrett, like you could be like, okay, any of these teams, but now we have 8 teams, any team can place, which is insane.
Low like threshold, like we don't know.
We don't know.
And we're excited to find out.
I know.
What Burgh in the past has always been a setting where, you know, back in like Burgh 1, 2, and 3 has always been like blowout round 1, right? Yeah. A lot of like sometimes only college teams would come, and it would be, you know, the blowout round 1, and then it would be this, because sometimes blowout would have the exact same lineup as Burgh whenever it would come around in the spring. So Burgh used to be hinged in as more so of a co-ed competition, and then years started going by. We started competing with FCB. Independent teams started coming in. Tag came. SMD has come. Nusty Johnny came. AEG has come. Like there, but you know, this is the first time we're seeing 2 college teams, right? And you know, from my own perspective, I've talked to guys on other teams in the past, and they were opposed to applying because they have teams have applied and didn't get in, even though they thought they probably were better, but they didn't get in because of, you know, a co-ed team got in, right? So we're talking about balance of lineup and all this stuff. So take us through like what, you know, because I know that there was a BTF post back on June 24th, so over the summer. Instigation Jut, whoever you are out there, good job. You posted something that, you know, Burgh should have a best all guys team match, and you know, I'm not here to put down what, you know, because UNC beat us last year. You know, Cal went and won blowout. Royal Queens, you know, before the whole Reno Bhangra fiasco, whatever happened out there, I don't know. We're not going to get into it. You know, they beat a lot of teams out there. So what pushed you guys towards you know, a lineup that is what it is? Is, you know, we're looking at 5 all guys teams, and in the past all guys teams have applied and then they wouldn't get in, and so like they're like, you know what, like we're not going to apply. We'd rather go to Boston or something. Like, you know, what, and before the lineup came out, like, you know, me personally, just knowing folks around the circuit, like we've heard that, you know, NSG was going to apply, Fertila was going to apply, AEG was going to apply, but, you know, in our heads, we didn't think that Burgh was going to boast a lineup of 5 all guys teams. We're like, someone's going to get denied and that's going to suck. Like that's literally what we were saying. Like someone's going to get denied, and that's just going to suck, right? Because, you know, they should definitely, you know, deserve to be in the lineup, but the understanding of, you know, having a balanced lineup of girls teams, co-ed teams, you know, and whatnot. So what made you guys pick this lineup? Like, what did it come down to?
Right. So we did a lot of thinking. It came down to a certain point where it was about the balance, where it came down to it was a very pivotal moment that we can like clearly recall, where it was like, if we if we go this way, then we would kind of move towards our balance of, you know, having co-ed teams and having collegiate and independent team balance. But I feel like we just kept coming back to the audition video, audition tape that was sent in, and B, what can they bring to Burgh? We were really looking at what they can bring to Burgh, because at the end of the day, I think we both really wanted all 8 teams to bring fire to stage. Like when we were thinking about it, we were like, we want all teams to like light the stage on fire. No one
We didn't want that bottom.
We didn't want a bottom. Like we just didn't want the bottom. We were like, we don't want one person to fall to the bottom. We want it to be that it's such an insane competition. Like we really wanted it to be about the talent, and we wanted it to be about like, what can they bring? So at the end of the day, when we pushed that like final thought, we were like, all right, we tell them to send in audition tapes. Let's take it fully and like, let's look at this audition tape and think, all right, what can they bring to Burgh? Can they bring what we want? And we wanted, like, I think we kept bringing up the word fire like 5 times in our conversation. We sat there, we're like, they can bring fire to the stage. They can set the stage on fire. Like this is where the hype was there. Yeah, it was just all about like creating hype. And I think that at the end of the day, we wanted that energy on this stage.
Something else, like whatever Nancy says exactly, but like something else that we struggle with is if we bring, I don't know, like collegiate teams that are closer that can drive, like will they bring more people? So we also struggled with maybe like selling locality and like selling tickets to the show also, or like maybe more of a hype team that's might have to fly in, won't bring as many people. That's something, but like that we struggled with. But I think at the end of the day, like we didn't want that low. We wanted every single team to kill it and no one know who could take it home. Yeah. But yeah.
So I don't mean to ruffle any feathers with the next question, right? So what you look at the name power, right? And a complaint from the younger teams is not getting an opportunity, right? What would they? Because again, you guys, what I appreciate, right, in the whole process is that you keep going back to, okay, this is their video, and like, you know, it is what it is. It's a display of the only display that you guys have of what might come, right? So another complaint is co-ed team, like from the younger co-ed teams, is like, well, how do you outdo an all guys team? I am a believer that, you know, you can do anything. You can watch the most recent competition that happened in the UK. The third place team could have won, in my opinion. They're a co-ed team, and you look at this lineup. There's only 2 co-ed teams and 5 all guys teams. So like, what could they have done differently or better based on what you guys watched? You don't need to give out any names or anything like that, but, you know, speaking directly to like some of these teams that didn't get in or might look at this and get discouraged, like what do they need to do? Because like, in my own opinion, like I remember coming from a time when I never got in any, like my teams never got into competitions when we first started, right? Like we would apply everywhere and we weren't very good, right? And rightfully so, we didn't get in, but, you know, I don't like to use the word discouraged. We just wanted to figure out what we needed to do to work harder and figure it out to get in, right? So what was the difference between some of these teams and the teams that you guys selected?
Yeah.
So I'll be perfectly honest, like I'm not a Bhangra person, right? So when I was watching this video, I'm looking for something that keeps me watching. Like what makes me want to keep watching? What like there should be never a point where my eyes are just like off the screen. I'm like, all right, so, and then like I should always be captivated. So keeping it dynamic, that's just something that I kept taking notes on, is how dynamic was their little piece. Like how much did they keep the eyes moving? How much did people move around? Formations, whether that be moves, things that throw you off. Like sometimes it's like, oh wait, I didn't expect that to happen. Or sometimes it's just like they suddenly break into something else and you're like, okay, wow. Like you're constantly kept on your toes. And I think that that's what we were looking for. And I really don't think, like, I think the 2 co-ed teams on our list, like, deserve to be on there. And I think that if they can do it, then any co-ed team out there shouldn't feel discouraged because they're on there for a reason. And it's because they provided us something that we were like, holy crap, like we can't stop watching. There's so much energy that goes a long way. The team looks like one. They're, you know, just like things that when you look at that video yourself, like you should feel like, holy crap, I can't take my eyes off our team. Our team is keeping it moving and keeping it dynamic.
And like another thing, like Nandini said, like whenever they submit like a few-minute audition tape video, and like when we finish that, I'm saying like I want to see I want to see like 7-8 minutes of it. That and like something like, I don't know, like a little different, whether that's in the mix, whether that's like formations or energy, something that like stands out. But yeah, the biggest thing is that's like we couldn't take our eyes off their video.
Exactly. Cleanliness, those are like things that I think like every team understands. Like move, cleanliness, like don't slack on those either. In your attempt to keeping things creative, don't slack on the basics. I think that that's also like sometimes like swayed our decisions. It was like, okay, so they tried to do this, but they're missing out on some things that we thought would just be a basic understanding or something that would look clean. So
can you expand upon that, because this is a touchy topic, right? So expand upon it, go deeper into what you're talking about right there.
Oh no, now I'm scared. But okay, like at the end of the day, I think so. There are obviously like, again, there's like some things that like everybody, the moves, like they just need to look clean. I don't know how else to put this, but like there are definitely times where you can pinpoint out certain people in the group that are like, oh, this person's just not with the group, or this person's just not united. And I think that shouldn't happen. Like it should be consistency across the entire team at like an elevated level. Like I think that's one thing I noticed.
Yeah.
Did you?
And then also like, I don't know, like having like levels, but I noticed what you're talking about, but also just in terms of what you were saying before with when you try to like, I don't know, do something else and then other things are lacking. So you try like a gimmicky type thing or try and do something that stands out and your formation's just terrible. Or after that, there's like no energy or the gimmick doesn't come across and we're just like, what are you doing? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not like specific to this, just like in general, but
right. So like both Isha and are on dance teams and we're not on Bhangra dance teams and we completely understand that. But I guess like things that we've always been told to keep an eye on is like energy consistency throughout the whole piece. Or, you know, there are times where like people just dip off at the end. Or there are a few people who are just not keeping up with the rest of the team. Formations aren't hitting, or somebody's just not getting to their place on time, and it's super evident in the video. And I think those are kind of the basic things that you don't want lacking. And then if you add all these like gimmicks and like all the creative aspects, that's when that stands out even more, because you're like, all right, so they've taken like something amazing
and they're elevating it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's good stuff. Like we did a podcast, like myself and Hao did a podcast on the creation of an audition tape and what our struggles have been, and you know, trying to talk about it. And a lot of what you guys touched upon, it was in there, and then you guys have said some more that actually I really liked, especially because you guys you know, I watched, I don't know how many applications you guys got, but a lot, right? Mm-hmm. You watched a lot of videos and you have to pick 8. So that's really, really good stuff. Give us all your favorite memory from the past couple Bhangra on the Burghs. It can be hilarious. It can be like out of this world ridiculous. You know,
Can we talk about a specific team too?
Who cares? Okay. Who cares? Just do it.
Okay, wait. I can talk about like a lighter moment, and then we'll get into the more intense moment.
No, mine is not intense. Mine is like funny.
The AG one.
Yeah, but they were just making fun.
It was funny.
Making a good way.
Oh, okay. I want to talk about the other thing too.
Okay,
well, I can just talk about freshman year I was a liaison for Spartan Bhangra, and I think it was the first year they had gotten into Burgh, and they just finished their tech time, and we like brought them their sandwiches, and they were standing like right on the steps, looking at soldiers and sailors, and they like took a deep breath, and they like literally inhaled and exhaled, and they were like look at this, like we have been wanting to go here for you. Like I almost started crying, and I was like, I had known them for like a hot second, but I was like, but yeah, they were like, look at this stage, like we have fucking wanted to come here forever, and now we're here, like soak this in, who cares if we don't win, who cares if we place, but like this is what it's about. And I don't know, as like a groupie that hadn't known them for that long, that like really meant something, and seeing their tech time for like basically random people, like it felt like a lot. And then you can get your AG sometime. I want to give them.
So AG honestly made my day, because I've been at the venue since 7 a.m. with
Not a
like
lot of people would say that about AEG.
So shout out to AEG, because there's 2 things that I want to bring up with them. One, I've had like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and I've been at the venue since like 7 a.m. consistently. Saturday and Friday. I was there at 7 a.m.
Awesome.
So, and I sleep at like after midnight meeting, which is at midnight. So like 1, 2, or 3, like I don't know. 4, like 100%. Awesome. So like I'm running on very low amount of sleep, and I'm an operations and logistics chair last year. So my job is basically to run around, and as other people on board have put it, I look like a headless chicken. But so, and a lot of me is like moving teams from, like during tech time, it's just like tech time is very tight. So we're running bus shifts and we're running all this, and my only like dream is to keep it going on schedule. And so we move each team, and so I call out each team's name, and I'm like, AG, and I have a very raspy, like specific voice that when I scream, like it's like a bullhorn, but also but it's just like I just go AG, like completely. That all I would say was like AG. It was like they weren't doing anything wrong, but I just kept like screaming AG. We're gonna go move this way, or like I was screaming instructions. And one guy, I don't remember who it was, he was like mocking my voice. He was just like, AG. And then he came up to me, he's like, we love your voice. And I remember I genuinely started laughing, and I think that was probably like that was probably the only time I genuinely laughed that day. I remember them going AG, and even actually other board members were there and they watched it. They were laughing because I'm also a very short person. I'm 5 foot and I've got all these,
like 4'11".
It's 100% 5 foot, Aisha. And there's all these giant people like going AG, and I've had to use my voice to like command this group, but they were extremely friendly. They made my life a lot like easier. Like 100%. I'm giving them props because like I was screaming. They listened to me. That I had no issues. I was just screaming their name. They were just like laughing and they were being very friendly. And even at the end, they were very helpful. And I think, they recognized me by my voice afterwards. They were like, "Oh, it's the AEG girl," and I was like, "Oh, that's me."
Like, see you at the after party, and you're like, "Oh, what?"
I didn't go, right? Oh, just a testament to how tired I was. I did not go to the after party. I fell asleep at 11.
This year, you will make it. You will make it. You will make it. I literally, and then, okay, mine is also AEG. I don't know why this is just like so specific. They're just like. They're a hoot.
They're amazing.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna say this really quickly, and then, but basically, this I think actually killed me. So they just finished their tech time, and they were in like the room, and they were like icing and watching their tech time video like on the projector, and I think it was like Howie was getting like really intense, like maybe someone had messed up, like whatever, I don't know, and so they had this stunt thing in their piece where they tied like a cord or like some kind of like slinky, a bungee cord. And two people were back to back, and like they had whatever, it was like very precise movement. If someone like stepped a little out of place, then like they would fall or like lose their like stepping or whatever. So at one point it was like towards the end, and I was like in the back. I think I cried of laughter. Howie or someone else, one of the other captains was like, "If your ass cheek isn't touching the other man's ass cheek, you fucking get closer. There should be no space between your ass." And I just cried. I have never laughed like I have. It was just so funny.
Was that Ankush?
I just remember I was like looking at the co-director last year, like Roha, and we were both just like silent of laughter. But also like more seriously, like those like funny moments are really good. But like we talk about this a lot when you're like a part of BIB and you see all the different like departments, sections on our board that come together, even if it's just like people helping for one day. I think there's like a moment that's like
it all
falls to place.
I think that's the best memory for me. I think is I didn't realize how much the board had my back so I hadn't eaten all day either, and I didn't buy a samosa, nothing. I was just like, I can't eat right now. And one board member, I still remember, she like took the samosa, shoved it into my mouth, she was like, take a bite, and I was like, okay. And like they have your back like no other. And the best part is like you don't even realize like they're having your back until like afterwards, because you only see the bad things. You only see, oh crap, this didn't go well, that didn't go well. But at the end of the day, somebody comes up, they're like, hey, like this part ran well. I was like, really? Yeah, I didn't see that. But they have your back, and that's amazing. Like it's just like you see the different gears working, and then you put it all together, and the machine works.
And like even if you aren't part, like I was liaison chair, I knew what PR was doing, but I didn't like actually see it. And then when I saw them like with like little kids running around with like the merchandise, and I saw like ops running the schedules, and like I just like everything comes together, and you're not a part of these like specific departments, but it just comes together, and there's like a moment where you're like, oh shit, like I was a part of this. For me, like last year was like watching Spartan Bhangra, like their tech time. Last year, I can't remember. I think it was when Buckeye opened the show, and I was like in the audience for like a hot second. I got like 20 seconds of their performance, and I just like felt it, and it was just like my heart was like so happy. That's so cheesy, but I just feel so good.
There was like another moment. I didn't go inside. I think I don't know what I was doing. I don't remember. I think
you blacked out.
I 100% blacked out. I don't remember everything, but I do remember. I think was that when you guys turned off the lights and you guys did
the X. Yeah, that was so cool.
All I could see. I like already sure there's that diamond little window. I like jumped up and I looked and I was like, SCB's on. Oh, that's cool. Okay, now I gotta go now. But I was like, and everybody was there. Like ops staff pulled through. Like people who aren't on board pulled through. Like operations staff, PR staff, and you see them all just door guarding like a bunch of samosas just standing there. Like you're like, damn, like we put on a show.
Yeah, it just like comes together. Like the whole experience, and you're like so grateful for the people that you get to work with.
Yeah, and all those stories are hilarious. I think anything AEG does is hilarious. I can relate kind of to the Spartan story a bit, because when we competed at Burgh for the first time, I felt the same exact thing. I was like, damn, like this is it, because back in the day when Burgh was first starting, SGPD and Rutgers won. Rutgers got first, SGPD got second. A lot of people watched those videos. And then VCU won 3 years in a row. That stage, the visual of that stage is ingrained in so many Bhangra lovers' minds, right? Like I remember the Harkiran from Bunge came and judged. I want to say one or two times, a few times maybe. But I just remember that like all she wanted to do, she didn't care about anything else. She just wanted a picture on the stage. Yeah. Right? Oh, and like she made it her cover photo or profile picture on Facebook and stuff. Is like, finally I'm on the stage. And I get that. Like you think it, like whatever you saw, it's genuine across the entire Bhangra circuit. And for me speaking, I guess on behalf of everybody in the Bhangra circuit, we are thankful that you guys are able to run the competition year in and year out and give everybody the opportunity to be on what I would call also a very an iconic stage that there's no other stage like Burgh.
We were really glad you love that stage, because just a side note, my co-operations chair and I, we run our butts across the stage to tape up all the holes. Because we know that you guys love that stage, but those damn nails keep coming up anytime you guys bounce on it. But there's something that just like we were running our butts across the stage. I still remember, and we were like, this is the iconic stage that everybody loves. And I was like, so beautiful. I was like, just like sitting there with some gaffer's tape, like going over everything. I was like, but then when they dance on the stage, you're like, man, those tapes and the nails and the hammer that you got on the side, like, really glad you guys love it.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Everybody, thank you for listening to another episode of the Bhangra Podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, give us a rating on iTunes. Follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever you listen to any podcast. And talk to you guys soon.